Look, if you work anywhere in the mergers and acquisitions space, you need to be on YouTube. I don't care if you're doing quality of earnings. I don't care if you're a financial advisor. Heck, I don't even care if you're the person buying or selling the business. You need to be producing content on YouTube. Over the past year, I've been completely introduced to the M&A space after doing a ton of work over YouTube and social media, and I think I found a really cool niche. As in, I've been able to get a lot of clients, a lot of success in this space particularly, but I've noticed a couple things that, in my opinion, are just weird and don't make a ton of sense from a marketing and sales standpoint. So in this video, I am going to make the case on how if you work anywhere in that space, you need to be producing YouTube videos in order to get more leads that close faster and at a more consistent rate inside of your business. Now look, I am not gonna sit up here and try to act like that I am a mergers and acquisition expert. To be honest, I have only exited on a business once, and that was a couple years ago in e-commerce, and outside of that, I don't have a ton of experience personally when it comes to my experience of buying, selling, and advising on extremely high ticket deals and businesses. However, I do have a lot of experience in social media, and I've worked across several dozens of industries over my 8 or 9 year career that gives me a certain perspective that I feel like you probably don't have if you spent the past 10, 20, 30 years plus inside of one specific industry. Let me make what I'm saying a little bit more plain and a little bit more clear. Basically, you guys in M&A space think completely differently than other people think, specifically around your thoughts and feelings towards social media. And I think that lack of perspective puts you at a bit more of a disadvantage than you actually understand. Let's take a traditional marketing agency, for example. You can even look at mine if you want to. A marketing agency fundamentally understands that they need to do everything they can to create trust with somebody before they ask them for money. They also understand that a business that relies 100% or honestly even 50 to 60% on referrals is a very, very poor business that will ultimately lead in a very slow lead flow, and before too long you're gonna have to shut your business down. Now, everything that I just said in the context of a marketing agency makes complete sense. However, if I took that same approach across the M&A space, it's like that thinking doesn't matter anymore. For example, I've hopped on a lot of sales calls and a lot of conversations with people who are in the M&A space that truthfully think that they can rely on a business that is 100% referral based, or that start half-baked podcasts and social media accounts that honestly don't look good. Which means if you invest a certain amount into social media and the quality is bad, then the trust that you would have built is basically gone down the toilet, because nobody trusts somebody with a really poor camera, bad titles, and doesn't look like they know what they're doing on social media. It gives you a very, very cheap impression. And in a space where emotions and high ticket deals are basically everything, this is something that is a very, very pivotal thing for people to get, understand, and more than anything, for you to implement inside of your business. Which leads me almost right into my next point. I've noticed, and I mean I've noticed a ton, is that in the M&A and mergers and acquisition space, whether regardless on who it be and regardless on what part or what size of your deal is, everybody's offer is basically the same. As in, the thing that you're offering is the exact same thing that your competitor is offering, and is the exact same thing that their competitor is offering. Everything is the same. And the only thing that differentiates one agency or one service provider from another is generally the years of expertise, so how long you've been doing something, and how many successful deals that you closed, which are fundamentally not bad, right? Like if you've done more deals and have been doing more deals longer than somebody else, then you probably know what you're doing a whole lot more. However, how that shows up from a marketing standpoint is numbers on the website. So that means there's one person with a not so great website, because the M&A space is notorious for having very slow movers in social media and marketing. And then there's another half-baked website. One of them says I have 10 years and 300 deals successfully closed. Another one says I have 12 years and 350 deals successfully closed. Now, when I paint an example like that, obviously the person with more time and more experience goes down, but that is not how people buy things. People buy things from emotions first and then logic later. And basically, in order for them to understand emotionally why they should pick you over somebody else, they have to talk to you or somebody on your team. And by the time that happens, they've already picked somebody else, because most people in the M&A space generally take a little bit longer to get a hold of. So the point that I'm making here is that if the only thing that makes you different is that your amount of expertise and the amount of deals that you've done, why would you not document that? Why would you not record a video of you talking about deals that you went through in the past, deals that you're currently going through that you know you're not signed under NDA and can't talk about, and specific deals that you can walk through? This is exactly what I would do if I was in this situation with this person that I'm trying to close. There's such a humongous lack of creativity in the M&A space, it actually blows me away, because some of my clients are generally getting paid $50,000 to $60,000 per deal, but their marketing marketing is absolutely terrible. And I've noticed that across the industry as a whole. So if the only thing that makes you different is you, why would you not be the center of marketing and center of expertise? As in, why would you not put yourself in a place where people can consume constant and hours and hours and hours of content, understanding exactly who you are, exactly what you have to offer, all of your expertise, and everything that you bring to the table over somebody else? Because let's be honest, in this space, your competitor is probably not doing it. Now, I promise I'm done ranting about really bad social media after this point, because this is the part that makes absolutely no sense to me. Because the deal sizes are large, they naturally take a little bit longer for you to get a lead and for that lead to actually turn into a paying customer. Which means because there's more time for somebody to close, there's naturally more time for them to drop off. And I'm not being funny when I say I see people all of the time just letting it happen. There's no follow-up sequences, there's no client interviews, there's no testimonials, there's no customization around this specific person to make their dream deal feel like the most important thing in the world to them. It's like, okay, we want somebody to pay us $50,000, but to be honest, if I only get like 5 or 6 of those a year, I'll be fine. But to be honest, if you put together a system that allowed you to show up right when somebody was about to drop off, you'd probably be able to double that deal size over a given year. Think about things very practically. People are busy and they're always being pitched to. So you can fall out of somebody's graces relatively easy. Somebody can forget about you. And especially if they've only talked to you on a phone conversation once or twice, you gave them a few nuggets, but nothing longer than a 15-minute conversation. Wouldn't it make sense for them to have a way to constantly follow up with you in a way where you're not talking to them? So you don't have to use any of your time, but they can leverage all of their time hearing your thoughts and opinions around specific deals. And I promise this does not look like a podcast. If I see another M&A podcast, I'm probably going to lose my mind. What it actually looks like is walking through the thoughts, emotions, questions, and concerns that somebody has about you and about your service, and more than anything about how they can get closer to the deal or the solution that they're actually looking for. And because these lead times are so long, it becomes dramatically easier for somebody to fall off and completely forget about you. Look, I am done talking through this about specifically why mergers and acquisition spaces need to make YouTube content. At this point, I think it's relatively self-explanatory. And if you watched this video up until now, then like understand you need to start making YouTube content. And I have an entire YouTube channel about how people like you can get into YouTube without needing a bunch of fancy lighting setup, without needing to understand all of the ins and outs of the YouTube algorithm. Literally pull your phone out, get started, and I promise, engineer things correctly and build a system that matters. You will be able to record a lot of YouTube videos that mean something to the person that you're trying to close. As in, you'll make more money and you won't need to spend a lot of time in order to get this extreme amount of results. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.